Hi guys, it's EGC here. So today I'm here with updated Zorga Deck profile, including cards from DBT03. We have a lot of support in DBT03, including orders, including new units. We even have a triple rare. We have the doggy. So there's a lot of things that we can actually put in the deck if we want to. And of course, this version is a version that I've been playtesting for weeks. So far I'm comfortable with this build. There are little things that we can still tweak, but it's more of a personal preference, and I think this version is kind of better. That's why I'm doing the profile here. And then I also have Magnolia deck profile coming up, maybe some other builds if I want to, for Stoicheia. We do have some side red lines, or maybe like main grade 3s that we can still cover, but mainly I would be focusing on Zorga, Magnolia, and Blackbird. Blackbird is already out, so if you haven't checked out the deck profile, go to my list of videos and you can find it right there. Do have a look. It's a fun deck, but it requires a lot of thinking. And with Zorga, we also have a lot of mindset changes occurring, which I will go through when I'm talking more about the actual main deck content. So with right deck, we still use the same Zorga right chain, the right line, because it's just good. We play orders, we want to filter cards, we want to fill our drop, we want to pick up our orders, we want to use Zorga to do Alchemagic freely, and it is indeed a Zorga deck. So yeah, the right line is not changed at all. And then Grade 3s, I'm still only running 3 extra Zorgas for the personal ride. I do see people like Out of Orange actually pulling one out and using the other common grade 3. I think it's the Meat Mancer or something like that. That for each binary orders will get plus 5k. Which I also did try that out. But without cutting extra Zorga, I used something else to replace and put that in. It is great, but based on what I play, like what my friends playing, I kind of find that card helping me a lot, because yes, if the unit stays, it is a very strong defensive and offensive unit, because the power will just stays there, and if you keep doing more Alchemagic, then you can get even more power. But you probably will also see in some fight videos that I have, I'm still picking which one to upload, but when I'm facing decks like Phantom Blaster Dragon, they will straight up killing it. So it can only be offensive, and it will not stays on the field, and I need to use extra effort to bring them back, which I probably prefer to put the resources to something else. So it's not there. And the Zorga for personal ride, I think, is still very key. Just in case you don't have the GDR, Zorga is another GDR, basically. And of course, the new cards, the doggy. I get it like 4 SPs in day 1, so yeah, just because I really do love this unit. And this unit, I would like to say it saved the whole Zorga deck, but of course it's not like bringing it to suddenly from like a mid-tier to T0. That's not what this card does, but this card actually helps the deck a lot more than a lot of people think. So let's talk about the skill. So if you place him to Regard Circle from hand, you can search up to 1 order card from the deck, and if there's no same name order card in your drop zone, you put that card in your drop zone and shuffle your deck. If you pick something with the same name, then unfortunately you're just going to okay, I find this, and then you shuffle your deck because it didn't go to your hand. And second skill is, when you play order, don't have to be Alchemagic, so +1 for a turn, get 5k, and then if you Alchemagic, then you can actually bounce a unit back to your hand if you want to. So the targets that you can bounce can be Zorga for personal ride, then you, maybe you play him as a attacker or something before, or you just drag him with your Vanguard Stalker and then bounce with your doggy, then you can have a personal ride. You can also bounce your PG, you can also bounce your over trigger if it's not being used as a trigger, then you can have a lot of defensive power and keep recycling stuff. But in the cost of Soul Blast, so do need to be careful when you're using Soul. But what the most valuable skill of this card is the first skill, because you finally can get an order from deck that is what you want. Like in the past, we keep milling decks in order to get some orders in the drop, and we can't ensure which order goes to the drop. Now you can. And with other cards that I have in the deck, you can actually turn that card that goes to the drop to be a card in your hand. So it needs to go through a few steps, but at least we finally can get order cards into our hand that is what we want. And we can also create the orders in the drop that we want to Alchemagic it with if we have a specific order in hand. So we can control our combination a lot more easier, and we don't need to wait. What you need to have is just a doggy. That's why this card is kind of saving the whole deck and making the deck a lot more efficient, because you are milling accurately and not massive, not like recklessly. Then what left in deck is quality content and also triggers. That is already helping the deck by a lot. And then 3 more Hydrina. I'm actually cutting Hydrina from 4 to 3 because I really don't mill that much anymore with the doggy. I don't want to see triggers go to drop just by her skill, but she is still a very helpful card to help you out to reduce Soul Blast cost for your Alchemagic, so you can use your Soul Blast for your doggy. So still free, but I don't see a need of 4, at least for my own opinion, anymore. Some people do like to play 4, that's fine as well, but the deck space is still kind of tight, so I have to actually cut one of her to fit in other cards. And then I have one more Shark. No matter how or what people say, while we have a lot of power gain right now, and even a doggy can power up, I still think guard restrictions is needed, even though we are just running 1. But usually 1 is just good enough to create the pressure to your opponent to keep hitting it. Because you bring the Shark out, you don't actually need to use the skill every single turn. You can just, okay, if I want them to kind of drop the PG, then I can just swing without the skill. But if I don't want him to drop a PG, then I can just, or maybe even if you need to PG, you need to give me more stuff, then I can use the skill. I get the options to do so. But if you don't run a Shark, you don't have that option. And who knows, sometimes your opponents just have a lot of PGs and they just, okay, PG, PG, and PG you. Then even though they still use a lot of resources, but they might still have the key card in their hand. But now this one at least kill 1 more card out of their hand. And sometimes they only have 1 card in hand that is a PG, and if you don't use the Shark skill, or you don't have the Shark, then you can't win from there. So I still think the Shark is important in the deck, and that's why I'm still running it. And then another new card, Carrion Handler. It is a card that I first didn't thought of putting it in the deck. I do like it, but I was choosing the Banshee from set 2 that I can get order cards from Bind Zone, which because I think I will keep Alchemagicking, and I will pick up cards from Bind Zone and create the on-hit pressure. But there are a lot of games that I actually have a lot of orders in the drop because I have the doggy right now, but I don't have any orders in hand. And that you can't help, because you can keep trying to draw, but if they don't come, they don't. So that's why Carrion Handler actually comes in handy, because his skill is by counterblast one as an active skill and bind this card, you can grab an order to your hand. So as I said, doggy helps you put order cards into the drop for whatever that you want. As long as they don't have the same card existing in the drop already, you can basically drop any order. And say if you have no orders in hand, you have this, you have your doggy, you have one order already in drop, then you play the doggy, drop another order that is not the same with that one, which completely fulfills what you need for Alchemagic, and then you play this card, bind it and counterblast one, pick one order up, and now you can do Alchemagic. And because you can pick whatever order you want from here and from here, that means you can control the sequence. Because for Alchemagic, we need to first run through the skill of the one that you actually play, and then go through the skill that the one that you're binding for Alchemagic. So there are times that you have order A in your hand and order B in the drop, but what you actually want to do is B and then A. So there is something that kind of ruining how you fully optimize your Alchemagic with orders. But now with doggy and your carrying handler, you can control your sequence. And what's more happier than having a way to get the order cards you want from the deck into your hand? You need to pass through 2 cards, but you at least can get what you want. In the past, we don't even have that luxury, and now we do. So this card, after testing, is completely needed. I even want to put one more in, but if I really do want to, I probably will need to cut the Zorga. So for now, I'm running 2. And so far, it's helping me out enough, but if I really want more, I will need to find space somewhere. Which the Headhunter, Rogue Headhunter, is still probably be the key attacker and booster in the deck. And if I really want to add one more carrying handler, I might pick from Zorga or this, if I want to. But so far, I still use a lot of counterblast. Like this use counterblast, this use counterblast, and a lot of my orders use counterblast. So reducing counterblast cost is still very key in the deck. So I'm still running 4. And then 4 PGs, just because they are PGs, they're just good. So nothing too much to say. And then going into orders, 1 regurgitation, 3 GDR, 1 nectar, 2 spiritual body condensation, 1 wild intelligence, and 1 ghost chase. So ghost chase is still great, giving yourself a chance to bounce back whatever you want to, so that you can reuse, usually the back row, or a unit that without intercept, so you can just simply bounce them because they don't get attacked so easily. So it's still great, but it's not a normal order, so you cannot Alchemagic with it. Wild intelligence, this is something that I tried. In the BT02 version, I didn't run it at all, but it's still great. A little mill, and then bring out whatever you really want, and you can do it early game, so help you push faster. Even though we can actually play a long game, at least you have an option to do a fast game, which is the same with spiritual body condensation. Just a great 1 or grade 0 order that can bring you out units easily without a lot of waiting. It's great. Nectar, because I'm still playing the shark, combination of both to give you a shark crit and then guard your strix is strong. It's still kind of a win con in the deck, so nectar is still here, but you still need to wait until 15 drops, so it will still be some time. And there's a little story with this card in the Japanese community. It's like saying if you have 15 souls, you should actually be able 15 drop, you can actually get more than +1 crit. But now it's all clear, 15 drop plus 15k plus 1 crit, which I think is most of our understanding, but at least it's soft. And then regurgitation, I still want to retire power and being able to bring back units that I want to. Of course, facing decks like Bastion, I probably won't be able to kill the units because I can only bring Zorga back. But now with the doggy, even if I bring the Zorga back, I can bounce that back to my hand for next turn person right. So still have uses. You never know what decks you're going to play against, and being able to have retire power is still great. So still here, and GDR is still probably our best order cards. Basically it's a person right, but you can choose power where to go from, and it's a order that you can simply just play even if you don't have Valkyrie Magic. You can just counter last one, give 3 units plus 10k and just swing. So just great. Yeah. And then triggers. Over trigger, still the Stoicheia one, because I do love the all-rounder effects, and being able to heal sometimes really helps. And then 4 of the old crit, 4 of the soul in crit, because we do use a lot of soul. We need to risk a 15k shield to put into your soul in order to gain that, but sometimes you really need, for example, the shark, you do need the soul to use the skill. In the doggy, you really need the soul to use the skill, so you'd rather risk that 15k shield to have a chance to gain your soul. You don't need to use it every single time. It can just be a 15k shield, but at least you give yourself an option to do that. And then free front, which is the 20k shield, just because it's 20k shield is great, and we are playing like GDR, we are using pressure right, we always want a high power, and we don't want to clear our deck that fast, so we're not using draw, we're using front. And then for heals, just because heals are heals, nothing to say about that. Yeah, so that's basically the content, and you can see my order cards excluding Ghost Chase on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 orders. So it's kind of easy to running out of things. It does, which also means I'm actually speeding up the game. Some people do run like 9 to 10 orders still, and if you do want to be more stable, you can feel free to just take out the Ghost Chase to use other normal orders. That also works too. Like you can put the Port of Greed, you can put a lot of other orders. But yeah, do let me know your comments. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I will be happy to answer them. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.